thank you for joining us today. I make daily videos on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, going through the daily grind, showing what it's like playing this game every day, following the APGains farming guide. Later on in the future, we'll see how much that changes, but for right now, APGains farming guide video every day, usually going out around 9 a.m. Eastern. So please check back if you enjoyed this video. I also have a playlist showing all of my previous videos building up to today. Now, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I post my video, because I do go live on YouTube and Twitch. So please find my Twitch link in my channel. I do have it linked. Follow me over there. I also have a Discord link in the description of this video. Please click on that link. Join me on Discord. I have a nice Discord community. They are very supportive, very kind, very helpful. We have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of fun making these. I hope you enjoy this. Please comment down below. Let me know if you enjoy this video. And you have a nice day. Now let's get on into this. Hello, welcome to day 51 of our free-to-play farming guide, where we're following the APGains farming guide. We are, I know I've been saying it almost every day, but we're so close to finishing phase 1. I am super excited about that. Let's see. If you joined us last night for the live stream for the Grand Arena attack phase, thank you for joining. Unfortunately, we did not get very far with it, and we are going to lose that final Grand Arena attack. But we'll see where we get placed next week and who we get matched up against. So we'll have another run at it again next week. I believe we have another attack phase. Oh, maybe not. I think Conquest is starting up, so maybe we'll have to wait. Cool. So yep, we are beginning to, or we are farming Moff Gideon now off of the Cantina nodes. Of course, our dailies. Oh, let's see. What are we talking about today? I hadn't thought about what the topic was going to be for today yet. Actually, I might be able to at least beat this one. You know what? We can talk about the. I know what we can talk about. It's something I have been wanting to talk about. I've been talking about it with a few friends recently. I have enjoyed the Witcher Netflix series. I've enjoyed the Witcher, was it the Wild Hunt, the third game, and I played a bit of the first and second. I believe I've played a bit of the second as well. And I've read the first book and about half the second book, so I've enjoyed a little bit of all of the Witcher content that's out there. And so season 3, Henry Cavill will reprise his role, and then in season 4 he will be replaced with Liam Hemsworth for the Netflix series. And that makes me sad because I really like Henry Cavill, and I like how much of a nerd he is and how much he enjoys the nerd culture with comic books, video games, sci-fi books. You know, he loves being Superman. You know, he is a part of the nerd culture. And a big part of it, he built his own computer, and I think that's really cool because I've built my own. And so, you know, I really like him being a part of these things because he is a fan himself and wants them to be good. He wants to release a really good Superman movie. He wants to release a really good Witcher Netflix series because he's a fan of it himself. He wants to be able to sit down and watch a good adaptation of one of his more favorite franchises. And so, you know, we'll talk about that story. You know, we don't know the full story. We don't know officially why he's leaving. We don't know if he's the one that's leaving or if he was fired. I don't think we officially know that yet. But we do know that he will not be returning for season 4. I think that he is leaving, that he chose to leave. And I think that it could be in light of what just came out about the writers of The Witcher. And to start off this story, you have to kind of go back to the 1990s with the X-Men the Animated Series. It's a good show. It had like 7 or 8 seasons. A lot of really classic stories of the X-Men were told throughout that show. And it's a good show. I've watched parts of it, most of it. and I really enjoyed it. It's awesome. It's a really classic Marvel animated show that's worth watching. If you haven't seen it, you should go back and see it. And I believe at some point next year, Disney's going to release another season to that show. Um, and they've hired a writer, head showrunner to come and be the showrunner for that. Well, his rule for this show was that if someone was going to come in and write an episode or be a writer on the show, they had to be a fan of the original. He was not going to write somebody who was not a fan of the original. He was not going to hire someone to write if they were not a fan of the original show from back in the 90s. And that's because he worked on Witcher Season 1. He was a writer for Witcher Season 1. And he had to sit around and listen to all the other writers make fun of the Witcher books, make fun of the Witcher games, and openly talk about how they do not like them. They did not like the storytelling, or for whatever, I don't, he didn't give a lot of specifics, but they were not fans of the originals, and they would make fun of the original source material that they were adapting. And he said it was a very toxic environment because you're working on a project and you're surrounded by people making fun of the source material that you're having to somewhat adapt. And Henry Cavill would call in or show up to the writers and say, "You got to change this. We got to, this is the way it was in the books, and we're doing it completely different in the show. We should change it up." And the head writer for X-Men the Animated Series came out and said, and he said all this in an interview that he did not like that culture and he wanted the culture to be much better for his show with X-Men the Animated Series. And so Henry Cavill made a statement about him leaving and how he was a fan of the Witcher source material of the books, and he knew that in the books you read a lot of Geralt's thoughts, and so you really come to understand who Geralt is as a person because you're reading his thoughts, and he knows it's a show. You don't just get to easily portray his thoughts in the show, and that is understandable. That some things have to change from the book to the show, but he wanted to have Geralt talk more so that we could understand his thoughts more and kind of come closer to the way it was in the books through a better way, through a good way that works in the show. And the writers did not like that. They would always fight back against that because they wanted to make their show. And so that's the kind of story right there. And here are my thoughts on it. We've had Percy Jackson, that was an awful adaptation of the original Percy Jackson books. We've had The Hobbit, that I really enjoy, but a lot of people did not enjoy that adaptation of the books, and it's not a very close adaptation. I mean, the true story is there, but they make a lot of changes and additions. I don't think they really took anything away, but they made a lot of additions. And let's see, what else? What are some others? And there are others. You can please call them out in the comments below. Talk about them in the comments below. I'd be glad to hear what yours are. What others I'm forgetting. And so, my first thought when I think of a bad adaptation of a book or a video game to a movie is the source material is there, and it was popular enough for the company to fund it into making it a movie, a big budget movie. The book was so popular that the big budget company was fine with giving millions and millions of dollars to turn it into a movie. So why not just perfectly adapt the book? And of course, quick answer and easy answer is there are things that have to change from book to movie, and that makes sense. One of the ways when I really learned that, or really understood that you cannot just perfectly adapt a book to a movie, is with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. J.K. Rowling was the writer for that movie. There was I believe another assistant, but she wrote the script for that movie. And I really enjoyed that movie because that movie feels like I'm reading a J.K. Rowling book. It didn't feel like I was watching an adaptation of her story. It felt like I was watching her book in in life, and it didn't make a great movie. It made a movie I really enjoyed, but it didn't make a good movie because like her writing was very evident in that movie, and I love it, but a lot of people didn't like it because her writing doesn't make a great movie. It makes a great book, and there are things you can do in a movie that you or in a book that you just can't really pull off just right in a movie. And I really understood that after watching Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So yeah, you got to make some changes, but also the most important thing when adapting a book to a movie is the theme. Like what is the point of the story? With Harry Potter, the most important and the biggest point is love, is sacrificial love, that is the strongest magic. Um, and they show that very clearly in the movies. Throughout the movies, is Harry's willingness to sacrifice himself for others. Uh, Lily's sacrifice for Harry is the thing that keeps him alive all the way to the end, even after facing Voldemort. And they held that up. They understood that, and they used that as the biggest point and theme throughout the movies. And that's why, even though there are some changes from the books to the movies, they kept the core theme, the core ideas, the point of it all in the movies. So then when, yeah, okay, uh, who was it? Crab or Goyle? I can never remember which one is which in the movies. But when one of them couldn't be on set, they used Blaze Zabini in place for Deathly Hallows Part 2, and it didn't matter. It didn't change the story. The story was still the same, and it worked just fine. People wondered, and where was Crab, and he was in jail. Um, I believe he was the one that was in jail. Um, but it still worked okay. But then it's like, so you can change some things as long as you understand the core. You don't change who they are as characters, and it still works okay. People are still understanding of that. So why did they do that? And it is very frustrating to me because I love books. I love comic books. I love video games. And I think some of these would work so well, like Halo would work so well as a story, as a show. As long as you just take the actual story, skip, a lot of the fighting, because yeah, sure, the Halo video games are all about that fighting and the action. The story's kind of on the back burner, but you just take the story, not even the video games, just adapt the books that tell the story of the video game. They already took away a lot of your first person action and updated it to work well better in a story. Why not just do that? So yes, I could go on and on and on forever about my frustrations with that. And I think one post that I've seen on Facebook a couple times, I think it comes from what was the name of the website? Some other fan website. I think it comes from there. But one thing I saw, and it was that Hollywood needs a new role in movie productions, and it needs to be someone called the book slapper. And their role would be to be on set or in the writing room, and when they start deviating too far from the source material, to slap the writer or director with the book and say no, do it better, or something like that. And I agree with that. I think that they need somebody on set who is focused on pointing out when they're missing the mark with the point of the movie or the theme or something crucial. Because yes, things can change slightly, but also you can't deviate too far or so far that you lose the heart of the story, and then you've lost the fans, and then your movie's over. Um, so it's a very important balancing act, but I think it's one that should be easy to do if you just hire fans of the source material. You hire people like Henry Cavill to play The Witcher, to play Superman. He will want the product to be just as good as he would want to be a fan of it, because he would want to be a fan of the movie that he's making
because he's a fan of the source material. Um, so Hollywood needs to hire more fans of the source material. And so for their products to be better. Um, Let me know in the comments down below. I know we've talked a little bit about stuff like this in the past, but now we have another perspective on it, and another story to add to our history of frustrations with people disrespecting the source material of things that of franchises that we really enjoy. And so, it's how it is. It's we're not all, not everyone's in the, not everyone has to be a fan of the things that we enjoy. Not everyone is going to enjoy the Transformers movies. I don't enjoy the Transformers movies, but it does have its fans out there. Um, Not everyone enjoyed Black Adam. I really enjoyed Black Adam. Um, and so, like, not everyone has to be a fan of the same thing, but if you're going to be making a movie and titling it Percy Jackson, or we'll stick to The Witcher, and titling it The Witcher, keep it close to the source material. Either choose the books or the game or the video games, and then stick to it. Stick close to that, and make it so that the fans of the books will enjoy the show. And I think for the most part they have, but with Henry Cavill leaving, I wonder how many fans are going to leave because they go too far away from the books. So we'll see. We'll end it there, folks. Here's another view of our roster as we end it up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just got to finish out these last 4 characters, and then we're moving on to phase 2. Y'all have a great day. I will see you again tomorrow, and may the force be with you.